I'm Caroline Dennis from Global Language Team, and I just want to record a quick video to give you a tour of the Ezdi tool. So this is the login page. Once you get your email, you just click on the invite link and you'll be taken here. For the first login, you'll have to create your own password and then you log in. You click on the Easy Transcribes icon and you're taken to the work list. So here you have 3 tabs. New files appear under here, files you're working on appear under here, and files you have sent for QA appear under here. This will tell you how many files you have and the total minutes that they contain. You can also get into drafts by clicking on here. So on your on these little boxes, the files will have some info. So this is the file number. The status of the file is transcription. The language, the type of file is an 8 kilohertz file. The file name and the length of the file in this pencil will take you into transcribing that file. So this is your transcription screen, and the top black bar just has some more file info here. Over here, there's 2 sets of user guides. We're using number 2 for this version of the software. And over here is your guidelines. So if you click on either of these, they will open these documents for you. So the user guide is just a basic look at how to use the tool, and the guidelines, English V2 for this version, is a detailed explanation of how to transcribe this speech into text, and for this project specifically. So you can keep these 2 open whilst you work. This little man icon here is where you will add speakers. You click on the plus. You can only have 2, and this file already has 2. So I'll just show you the settings underneath them. So you'll add your name here, the nativity and the gender, and save. Okay, and each one is the same. So just label them in a way that you will always select the correct speaker for each person in the file. So each file will have 2 speakers, and you must always use the correct one when they are talking. Over here you have some shortcuts, so you don't need to remember them, but the good ones are F2 to play and pause your audio, Alt-A to save your work so that you don't lose it. Down here, Shift and right and Shift and left, they toggle your speaker name and your segment type. Okay. Shift Enter will split your segment. So I'll show you those now. So on your audio bar, you have quite a few little settings. So this is where you'll play your file, F2 as well. This is your volume up and down. You can turn off one speaker at a time, as you have each speaker on a separate line. And then this is where you can zoom in to your audio. So if you click into a segment, it will select the audio that it is referring to in that particular segment. Okay. So if you want to zoom into that piece, you can. And then if you can't hear a word, you can just select that word, and selecting it will make it play on a loop. So if you can't hear a word or 2, you just select them. You can zoom in, select, play it, and it will loop until you stop it again. So you can type whilst you are playing that loop and just hear that correctly. And then here you've got your audio speed, which you can adjust, and some little playback here and foot pedal settings in here. So let's go back to a segment. So I just want to show you how to start your transcription. So you will start with selecting a domain name under this drop-down box and a topic. So your topic here is your subtopic or your scenario for call center calls. Down here you have a drop-down with the speakers that you've created on the right here. So you will select them in here. So in this version of the software, we have auto segmentation, which has included time capsules that are under 15 seconds each. So you don't need to create these and you cannot edit them. So each segment needs to have a segment type capsule. So you will have these already defaulted to speech. So if it is not speech, you can toggle that. We're using shift left and right, and it will go through the 5 different types of segments, which are noise, speech, babble, overlap, and music. So if you have a noise or a music segment, you won't include any speaker name or text for that segment. You will just move on to the next one. If you have a speech segment, then you will have to include the speaker. So you select the segment where you want the speaker to go in, and then you drop down and choose a speaker. Right, so now I would like to show you how to do a split segment. So you would split a segment when there is more than one person speaking within the same 15 seconds. So what you would do is you would tap speech. You would select your segment type, and then you would insert a speaker, and then you would tap the text of the first speaker, and just before the second speaker starts talking, you will stop the audio, press Shift Enter, and it will split the segment like this. Okay. So the end time of the first capsule of the first segment will be at the end of the first speaker. The start time of the new segment will be at the start of the second speaker. You will select a speaker name, and then you will transcribe what the second person says, and then the first person may start talking again within that segment, and you can split it again. So you can split the segment each time a new person starts talking. So so that is splitting a segment, and then so the next thing I need to show you is the shortcuts. So in our transcription, we don't enter any numbers into these segments because they're used as shortcuts. So shortcut 1 will bring a drop-down list. These are the noise tags. So if you go to the last page of the user guide, you will have the list here explained in more detail of what they really are. And for 2, these are filler words, which are on page 13 of the guidelines. So these are explained here and under shortcut 2. And then shortcut 3 is the markup tags, which are also on the last page of the user guide. So getting used to using those will save you time typing them out or typing them incorrectly. So when you start transcribing, I would just quickly flick through this little user guide. Watch this video, and then in the guidelines, it is more about the text. So section 2 is on segmentation and how to choose a segment type, which is these capsules. The first ones in each segment is the segment type. And there's 5 of them. So they go through them in detail here. Speech, babble, overlap, music, and noise until page 5. And then on page 6, it starts the transcription conventions. So from page 6 to page 18, it talks about exactly how to transcribe the speech, whether you should use an abbreviation or not, how to type out the numbering, and whether you should correct the grammar or transcribe exactly as it's said. So this is worth just keeping open until all of these little rules are just in your head and you no longer need these pages. So I recommend just keeping it open on the side here so that you can just flick through these pages as you need them, and you don't have to get frustrated wondering exactly what to do. So this is an example of how to use the tags on page 14. So here, there were only a few seconds of music. So you wouldn't use a music segment for that. You would use the music tag. And then you transcribe, there's a filler word, and then you've got an overlap. So if they only overlap for a few seconds, you would use the overlap tag and insert the words that are overlapped into the tag with no spaces. If you cannot hear the overlapped words, you use the unintelligible noise tag inside of the overlap. And then if there's no sound, you can use the no speech tag. So you will get used to using the different tags. There are also, so these are human and non-human noises. So there's a lot of detail here for you that will become more relevant as you go on. So when you need a break from your file, press Alt-A. You will see in this top corner where it says saved, that it will save when you press Alt-A. And then you can press back to go back to your work list. Okay, so you've closed your file and nothing can happen to it whilst you're away from your desk. If you want to send your file, so at the end of your file, you've completed everything, just give it a quick proofread, make sure that each segment has got the correct segment type, a speaker if it's a speech segment, or just check for spelling, grammar, anything you've missed out. Words that you couldn't hear, sometimes you get used to someone's voice, you can replay that. So then once you're done here, you just click send and it will take you through to a new screen where you are given the choice to send to QA Global Language Team or to the client. You must send it to Global Language Team, otherwise we will not find your file on our reporting, and paying you will become more complicated as we will have to go and find your file. So with this being such a large project, that can be an issue. So please remember to always send to Global Language Team. And then as soon as you're done, you can get a new file off the WhatsApp group by just tagging in one of the tech team putting in your full name, your email address, and your language, and they will assign you a file as soon as they see your message. There are continuous files available on this project, so please don't wait. There are always files available, even if your work pool says no. So if you get to this work list and it says no files or work pool's empty, that's not true. The client has got plenty files for you, and you can always just request one as soon as you need it. So I think that's about it. We covered how to use the screen, the audio bar, adding a speaker over here, using the drop down to add a speaker. So you will need to always make sure that your cursor is in the segment before you select a speaker. Don't click outside and then select one. And then the same thing for splitting a segment. It's just Shift Enter when your audio is in the right spot to split. So you would do that for multiple speakers in one segment. And then just saving Alt A all the time. Make sure you don't lose any work. So any issues, please just post on the WhatsApp group. Once your files are submitted, they will be checked by a QA team. We don't reject files outright, but we may return files to you for a little bit of reworking if that is necessary. This normally happens at the end of the project when we're done with the files. So please just remember that if you do need to rework, you will need to be available to just reopen your file, and it sometimes is just like a couple of minutes to just fix small things. I think with this auto segmentation and the auto segment naming and that, I think we will have less of that this project. But the client does expect our freelancers to support them with any reworks that are needed. So yeah, so I think that's it. I'm gonna end this video before it gets too long. And good luck with your work, and thanks for watching.